All right, y'all, we got to continue on with Uncharted Battlefield. This goes away tomorrow, so we need to finish this up. I think I was going to do one episode today and one episode tomorrow. I think we're going to do this episode now and then upload the other episode later on this evening, so you guys have some time to work on this. And I do apologize, it just kind of dropped when I was going out of town, so I didn't really have a lot of time to talk about it. But, Battle 5. Now, let me justify this first by saying Leafy is way, way, way better than this. The big problem I have here is that the auto battle system doesn't use your skill 1 right. That's just how it works. So, unfortunately, this is kind of how I have her set up. 2 UR scene cards. I do have an SSR item on her. But the big problem is she would be better. She would destroy this if, and only if, the auto battle system would actually charge her skill 1. But instead it uses it as a single shot blast. Case in point. So, yeah. So unfortunately, she's just not really going to perform here as well as she probably could. But, you know, that is what it is. That's just how the auto battle works. But notice, she's already out of there, and we're moving on to this section of the fight. I do have Winnie on her. Winnie is there for the healing, and I think that's kind of the right choice in this particular situation, because Leafy is going to take a decent amount of damage here. But that is okay. Honestly, the other option would be to put Loki on her, and I think that's overkill, honestly. I could save Loki for later on. If you don't know, Loki essentially increases your magic output by a significant sum. The downside is you do take more damage for it, but I don't think Leafy needs more damage. She's fine. Case in point, she absolutely wrecked this out. In fact, if she could charge her skill 1, she'd be a great candidate for the final fight. But it is what it is. It's like, who do I use, her or Lunar here? And the honest answer is just because the auto system doesn't use her skill 1 right, we use her here. I could probably take the scene cards off of her and just let her go wild. I don't know why I haven't, but it's just not a factor, honestly. It's just not a thing. Massive overkill for battle number 5, but it is what it is. Moving on to battle number 6, this is the first of the water fights. And so for this one, I wanted to use Filvis. Now, the big downside of Filvis, she's a great unit. In fact, she is another unit that I believe deserves way better than this. My problem with Filvis is the simple fact that because she's a defensive unit, she doesn't produce a lot of damage. Good news is she's not going to really need a whole heck of a lot here as far as scene cards go, so we just loaded her up with some very basic stuff, just give her a little bit more damage output. That's kind of that. I noticed she does have an SSR assist, so yeah. But being that she's a defensive unit, she's just going to tank all these hits like crazy. There we go. And she's kind of already through the first portion of this battle. Now, she does produce enough damage, but not enough to get us through the final water fight. So she's a great candidate for this. She's just going to eat damage. She's going to walk through the dungeon like it's nothing. Like I said, she just doesn't have she's like Otaro, a fantastic unit. In fact, she's basically the water version of Otaro. She's a fantastic unit, just doesn't have the damage output to justify putting her in the final fight. That's it. That's all it is. Here we go. And if you notice, I think mine's A0. So even if you just have her A0, you'll be fine. She's just good. Only downside is here, notice this is where she kind of stalls out. She just doesn't produce a lot of damage. And that's just her big detriment. Like I said, basically just a water version of Otaro. There we go. Now, for whatever reason here, she's just not... I think she's kind of bungling this run. I'm not going to lie. Alright, took him down. I need the ant to put up his barrier. There we go. Break it, girl. Oh, what the hell? The RNG is just doing ridiculous stuff now. Can you break his shield, please? Thank you. Why are we running around him? Why are we spending precious seconds running around him when we could have just defeated him by now? I don't know. Once again, you see there, this is where she just kind of becomes a hassle, because she just doesn't produce a lot of damage. That should not have taken that long. I'm going to be honest with you, but another reason why putting her in the final fight is just not an option that's on the table for me. So now we move on to our first electric match. Now after this, we're into all of our final matches. So battle 7 here, we are going to use Aisha. I like her a lot. And the best thing about her, well, I'd say the best thing about this team is that the Ishtar assist is going to allow her to do an insane amount of damage. The downside is, though, she's not going to have a lot of defense. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and put this scene card on her, that when her HP gets down there, she's going to get a shield, 50% shield. So that's very, very nice. She also starts off the game with a shield, which is really nice. We also have this scene card in there, which when HP is 50% or less, damage increase to 24%. Just another reason she's going to be able to produce crazy damage when she gets down there. Finally, when in battle, 10% endurance. I found that she wasn't surviving long enough just because of the Ishtar assist, but she was producing the damage we needed, so I needed to offset that. That little bit of endurance is really helping her out, and then, of course, I've got this cloak that is going to basically allow her to protect herself early on and then do a ton more damage. I really, really wish she would save that item for the end, but she's just honestly going to expunge it like almost immediately. So she should put that up once the shield goes away. You'll see a big, like, purple, like, hexagonal, I don't know what the... There it is, right there. It is a little bit of a waste. If she had held that to the very end, it'd be so much better. But she gets a big damage boost once that happens, and she's still at 100% HP, so we're not in any real danger. There we go. So we're finally we're still north of 100% HP. So that's good news. So we're going to go in here with full HP, and we've got, another 8-9 seconds before Ishtar pops again. So once that happens, we are going to take a lot of damage, but we're also going to hit like crazy. So here we go. Now, the orc hits like mad, so I kind of expected her HP to drop a little bit here, but in this run, we have not dropped below 50%. In my trial runs, we were at 50%, like, basically by the time the orc was done. So, that is what it is. Apparently, we just got really good RNG here. Huh. But I will promise you want the endurance buff on her. If you don't have the endurance buff, it gets rugged just because of Ishtar's abilities. But we cleared that with flying colors. Easy peasy. Moving on to the next one. Unfortunately, in that one, the scene cards weren't really a factor. So I could honestly go open those up for a later fight. Let's rerun that and remove the first 2 scene cards and just put on something cheap and see what happens. Because maybe I can save these for a later battle. So this just increases HP, 2193. Do I have an SSR scene card that will do that? No, not even close. Yeah, that HP buff. That HP buff is going to be hard to contend with. This is a strength buff. Strength buff at 51. Let's see what happens if we just remove those 2 and see how this goes. I don't honestly know. That is a lot of HP to remove. I didn't realize that scene card added... That scene card had added that much HP. But here we go. Yeah, our HP is down drastically. It's okay. I don't know if she's actually going to be able to pull this off. We'll see. We'll see. Go, girl. So she's still got her damage buff. But as long as she's got her damage buff, she's going to take damage. So far, so good, though. Oh, yeah, they're eating her alive right now. Yeah, I do not know that she's going to be able to do this without those scene cards, so I might have to go put those back on her. I don't know. We're at 50% health. Let's see. I just know that the orc is going to wipe her the heck out. He hits hard. Oh, maybe. Maybe. Yeah, she kind of needs that HP. Let's see. Can you take him out? Don't take a nap while he's attacking you. There you go. Can we wipe him out before he does his big attack here? Ooh, yeah, we need some HP. All right. Well, for now, we'll kind of stave that off. I didn't realize it was like 10k HP. That's crazy. So maybe we could throw some other scene cards on her and try her out later. Let's go ahead and go into Battle 8. This is our final water match. And so what we want to do is we want to kind of use our best water unit, and we want to use our best scene cards for this. So for this match, not Anya, we actually went with... Where's she at? Chloe. Now, Chloe's got SSR scene cards, just because the only real good water scene card... Well, that's not even a water scene card. That's an endurance scene card. Do we have a water scene card we could throw on her? I know we've got some. Since this is the final water fight, there's no real reason to like hold back here. So 30% endurance, 30% stamina. That'll work. And then let's see. 30% endurance, 30% stamina again. And then we could probably replace this one. Let's see. HP recovery. I don't think we need that now. Magic increase. Water damage increase. Special move damage. And I don't have that one duped out, so we'll use this. Actually, how many dupes do I have for this one? None. So we'll go ahead and use this for now. I think that'll be fine. And then I've got the water cloak on her. So I know she did it before with the SSR scene cards, but once again, I want to give her like every opportunity here. Now, there are some scene cards that will increase damage with poisoned enemies and things like that. That is also an option with her if you don't have a bunch of water scene cards. I just know that those scene cards I was using were kind of squandering her abilities. There we go. Go, girl. So basically, there are a bunch of scene cards now that, like, when your enemy is poisoned, you get SA gauge, or when you get extra attack damage, or the enemy is slowed. There's a lot of scene cards you can use that that basically use her poison ability kind of to a greater extent. But I think the endurance is going to be really nice here. Either way, even with the SSR scene cards, we cleared it before, so there we go. And that's kind of my general kind of theorem on this, is whenever I go into the final battle, I use whatever the best elemental scene cards are. But again, probably could do a little bit better with the scene cards that increase poison ability. But if I'm totally honest, I didn't even need them last time. We just kind of did without. Go ahead and break a shield there, please. Thank you. I think we'll beat this before the minute timer. Good grief. It's crazy. Old girl's kind of nuts. Once again, another reason that I put Chloe really high on my tier list. All the hostesses are just absolutely awesome. And I believe that's actually the last fight there. So that's level 8. So we'll talk about 9 through 12 coming up shortly. Make sure you guys, and you're already pretty much seen the teams for those. So make sure you guys like, share, comment, all the good stuff, and I will be back with a lot more. And like I said, we'll try to finish this up later on this evening so that those of you trying to beat this by tomorrow have at least a good idea of how to handle this. So, and as always, comment away, because some of you guys have really great ideas on ways you can actually defeat this. This is just my methodology. Doesn't mean it's the only way. So, every comment's a help. Catch you guys later.